Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's, let's see, what is it? Monday, December the 4th, 2017. About 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon. Just had some clouds come in and a light sprinkle of rain here in Subic Bay. And I haven't done this yet. I've been here 6.5 years. And I thought maybe it was time for a little update, kind of a 6-year plus update. Anyway, since I've been here in the Philippines, I sailed here on the boat, which many of you know, from Florida. Since I've been here, I've sailed, somewhere around 10,000 more miles. Over to Hong Kong and back, into Thailand and back, and a number of trips around the islands of the Philippines. Currently in Subic Bay. This is the 8th time I've been here. By the time I leave, I will have spent about 16 months in Subic out of the duration of my stay. Anyway, things have gone along pretty well during my stay. The first 5 years, I depended on public transportation, that is, tricycles and buses of various kinds to get around. And a little more than a year ago, I bought a motorcycle finally. And boy, I really like having that because it makes transportation a lot easier. I'm able to keep it pretty close by where boat is anchored, so it's just a dinghy trip ashore, hop on the motor, and off we go. I've had real good luck with the motor. Only problem has been a couple of flat tires, and that's been recently. But other than that, things have worked out quite well with it, and I really enjoy having it. I renewed the insurance. I have a Philippine driver's license, which I'll have to renew next year, and also apply for my registration renewal. Oops.
Sorry, we're back.
Had to take a quick break there and close the hatches because decided to get serious a bit with the rain. Anyway, yeah, I've done a number of trips around on the boat, a couple of local trips with the motor. I would like to have been able to done more trips with the motor, and had planned to do that before we came up here to Subic, but there was some work, stainless steel tubing fabrication that I wanted to have done before I left, and the guy that was going to do the work was so busy he kept putting me off, and I finally said the heck with it and left to come up here to Subic. But while I was waiting for him to get free time to do the project, before I knew it, a month had passed, and a planned trip over to Bohol got sidetracked. So maybe after we get back sometime in January, make that trip, as well as a number of other trips that I'd like to make. Dee Dee has a high school reunion coming up in January, and she's all excited about that. Get to see her friends from her high school graduating class, some of whom she hasn't seen in quite a long time, and they have unofficially or officially elected her to be the secretary for the group.
Secretary without salary.
So, she's been quite busy burning up the internet with Facebook and contacting all these people and making arrangements for various things. They want to get t-shirts made, and of course reservations at some kind of facility where the people can get together. I think that's still in the works. So, over my 6.5 years, annually I go back to the U.S. for about a month to visit my sister and her children. That's my family. And I also use that opportunity to stock up on things that I can't get here, or buy new things or replacements for the boat. This year was the first time I did a Balikbayan box, and that took 3 months to get here, which was okay because none of the things that were in the box were a pressing need. But since they now have changed the rules, presumably, and you're supposed to be, you have to be a Filipino to send the Balikbayan box. Anyway, I don't know about that. I don't know that I'll ever have the need to do that again. I have bought a bunch of new towels and sheets and various other things for the boat. So, plus I bought a new used sewing machine, and I didn't want to try and schlep all that stuff back on the plane. So it was a lot easier just to sit here and wait for it to come. Anyway, the boat's doing pretty well to keep up with the maintenance and bottom paint and minor repairs and modifications. That's why I want to do the stainless steel tubing work on the back of the boat. I want to have what is called dinghy davits built so I can lift the dinghy up over the stern of the boat and carry it without disassembling it. For local trips, that will be a really great asset. Even coming up here, which is 400 miles, it would have been nice to do that. So if I wanted to stop at a different island on the way, I could stop at anchor, and then it's quite easy to launch the dinghy without having to hoist it up and reassemble it, put it in the water, and then when I leave, hoist it up again, disassemble it, and stow it away. All of that is a bit of a hassle. It's okay for a long offshore passage, but for 1 day or 1.5 day trips, really not necessary and not very convenient. Anyway, hopefully I will get that resolved here in Subic. Went to talk to a man the other day who has got quite a sophisticated fabrication plant over there on the island where the U.S. Navy base used to be. So hopefully I'll get that put together. Had a little mishap here. One of the dive boats was out here with the divers on the boat in the water, and a couple of young men that were tending the boat, and had a little bit of a gusting wind come up, and their anchor didn't hold real well, and they drug down on my boat and smashed into my bow pulpit. Bent the pipes up pretty good and actually broke one of the welds, so I'm going to have to repair that, although I think I'm going to replace it with a whole new bow pulpit. Another expenditure on the boat. I listed the boat earlier this year with a broker, nice Australian fella down there in Carmen, Danao, and he's actually brought a couple people by to see the boat. No obviously confirmed sales yet. I'm hoping someone will come along sometime in this coming year to buy the boat. I'm turned 69 about a month ago. My health is good, but I've suffered so many injuries of various kinds over the years that I'm getting concerned with my ability to move around on the boat and handle the loads involved with hoisting sails and anchors and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's time to, in sailors' parlance, swallow the anchor and move ashore.
Oh no. Well, good to know.
Of course, Dee Dee really enjoys living on the boat with me, and this was her first big passage. She took some Clonamine the first couple days to get over the edge of the seasickness, but after that she was fine. And we did go through some pretty lumpy seas and fairly strong winds, so she did quite well with that. And of course the idea of traveling about appeals to her. And speaking of Dee Dee, after 6+ years, not that I was looking that whole time, really didn't start looking for a relationship till I was here almost a year. And went through the normal trials and tribulations with various women, some good, some bad.
I am good. I'm a good girl.
Dee Dee's more than good, she's great, absolutely fantastic, the best woman I've ever met in my
Wow.
life.
Thank you.
A fine example of why many men come to the Philippines looking for a partner. Absolute delightful person, and I love her, love being with her.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. And we've had a good time together, a very amenable relationship. So for now, we're awaiting Christmas and New Year's. They'll have various celebrations here. Usually a big deal is the New Year's Eve party that's held on the floating bar at the Arizona Resort. Well, the recent typhoon wiped out the floating bar. And they're in the process of having a new one built. I was assured by the management that it will be in place here in about 2 more weeks. About the middle of December. I'm sure they're anticipating the big party they have in the floating bar for New Year's Eve. The aura, or the flavor up here in Subic is changing slightly. The Arizona was partially owned. The principal was a man named Tomo, an Australian man my age. He's been here for quite a few years and built it into quite a successful business. He bought another resort about a kilometer up the road from a friend of his who was suffering from ill health and went back to Australia. Well, Tomo got that place up and running as quite well, and he sold out his interest in the Arizona resort to his Philippine partner. Very nice lady, married to an American retired pilot, I believe. She's in her mid-50s, and she's added a few of her touches to the way the place looks and the way it's run. And I was just over talking to Tomo the other day again, and he decided to sell out the new place, the Mango, to a fellow Australian who's a bit younger, I would guess. After meeting him, he's about in his mid-50s. So Tomo's heading down the retirement trail. Don't know exactly what his plans for the long-range future are. He just went through a knee replacement surgery, so he's still recuperating from that. And I don't know if the boat sells sometime this coming year. This may well be my last trip up to Subic by boat. I really couldn't afford to come up here and rent a hotel room for 2 months. Far too expensive to do that. Living on the boat, of course, is free except for the cost of diesel fuel and lubricating oil and things like that to get up here. Which, by the way, this was a pretty good trip coming up. We were able to sail quite a bit, and I probably only used half as much diesel as I normally use. Hopefully, the return passage will be as good weather-wise. Anyway, that's it for now. That's kind of a recap of my last 6.5 years and what's been going on and what's coming up in the near future. So I will say bye for now.
Bye.